Hey guys, Kev here, and I have another blade battle for you. This is the battle of the custom knife factories, the CKFs, baby. We have the Davless, Spec Design Davless, and we have the Fif20 from Philippe Georget. So, two really cool knives, excellently crafted custom knife factory knives by their OEM, whoever that happens to be. And just really, really good high-end pieces of cutlery here. And I just thought this would be an interesting one because they are front flippers, and they are CKFs, and they are expensive, and they are French designers, and my buddy Steve, who let me check this out, he prefers the Fif20. Is it the Fif20 or 21? Now my brain can't work. The 23 is a big one. Pretty sure it's the 20, not 21. But anyway, he prefers this one, and I prefer this one. And I just think it's an interesting conversation, right? He prefers the smoothness of this one to the, I guess, more snap to this one. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But both fantastic, so let's talk about it. Blade Battles. This is a series I do where I compare knives. And I choose a winner for each of these categories. These are all subjective, my thoughts alone on my experience and what I like. So this is not to say one knife is better than another and you should buy one over another. I love both knives, right? It's just a fun little experiment to do. I like it because usually it ends up being the opposite of what I think. The last few have been anyway. So the categories are materials, price, perceived value, aesthetics, ergos, cutting, carry, sounds, action, fit and finish, and leftability. So, basically give you a little intro. This is a David LeSpec designed knife from Custom Knife Factory. The Davless, these released more recently. I think they're finally selling out the last ones at NC Blade. The Fif20 here has been out for a few years, was very popular, and is a design from Philippe Georget. I've actually handled full customs from both of these knives, and they're both fantastic. I prefer the custom knife factory versions of both of the knives, ironically, and it's just because I prefer CNC precision. It's just really what it is, and price. But yeah, so let's get into it. The first one is materials. And this one's interesting because on this knife you get S90V. This is M390, so I immediately prefer the S90V. This one has carbon fiber scales over a skeletonized frame. And then it comes in varieties. This knife specifically came with crystallized titanium pivot collars and zircuti clip. Now, obviously, that's not what's on here. I put the bronze wash on because I broke the clip. I had a delamination issue, and then it looked weird with the collars. And honestly, it kind of looked weird with the collars to begin with zircuti clip. But anyway, those are the materials. Titanium, crystallized titanium, zircuti, carbon fiber, more titanium, and S90V. The Fif20 here is an interesting one. This has this shred carbon fiber, Zirc bolsters. So that's zirconium on the bolsters, titanium liners and everything, clip, and then you have the M390 blade. So this is a sort of interesting one, but I think I would go with the Davless because you get, in my opinion, the better steel, and then you get crystallized tie and zircuti. Where this, sure, you get the zirconium, which is awesome, by the way, but you don't get any zircuti or anything. Maybe, I don't think it came with a zircuti clip, but it's very possible, because if you look, it's kind of like a matching thing going on here. Maybe it did come with that, but from what I know, And then they would basically be the same. Then you're balancing the crystallized tie versus the Zerk, right? I prefer this. I also like, I guess that's fit and finish, but I like this carbon fiber better than I like this carbon fiber. I don't think they're the same, but that could be possible too. It could just be the finish. But anyway, I'm giving this one to the Davless. The price. So I think the price would probably go to the Fif20 just because it's older. I think these were like $700, $650, $700 maybe, $550, $600 when they came out. Where this came out and it was what did I pay? $790 or $690? No, I think it was close to $800, I think, for this. So the price of CKFs have just gone up, like retail, right? So the Fif20 would take it on price, I'm pretty sure. And perceived value is kind of the secondary market, the what are they worth now kind of thing. And I'm pretty sure you can get a Fif20 when available for pretty affordable prices. I think I've seen them going for, $450, $500, something like that. Now, I don't know if that's changed because they're not made anymore. Maybe now it's impossible to get one and they're $900 when they retail, but it doesn't, or sell. Doesn't seem like an Evo 2.0 situation. They seem to be more affordable when they do, like some people can't sell them. And they did actually do another run, right? They did a frame lock or something. So I think they were pretty affordable secondary. The Davless is still hot, right? So I think secondary market on the Davless is still around or at retail, which makes it the better one in terms of perceived value. So I'm going to give that one to the Davless. Aesthetics. This is an interesting one, as I say. I love the Fif20, man. It has that kitchen knife sort of look, just that clean drop point with the hand satin, that Zerk, the carbon fiber. Man, Philippe just puts it together in this knife. It is an absolute stunner. One of my favorite designs, I would say, aesthetically. The Davless, though, is just wild, man. Look at that. And it has the sheep's foot blade. I prefer the ergos don't matter right now, but that harpoon, the inlaid pivot stuff, and then the milling on this carbon fiber is really what sets it off for me. And then you have that like exoskeleton look with the scales on it, that indented backspace. I mean, it just, I don't know. Just something about this knife I love. Just a lot. So I'm going to give it to the Davless, but man, is it close. I mean, the Fif20 is an amazing freaking knife. Ergos. So this is, again, the Fif20 is fantastic in the ergonomic category. Look at this. Melting into my hand. Feels excellent in the hand. The Davless, though, is an absolute masterpiece. I mean, it's just so ergonomic the way it fits my hand personally. Everything finds its place comfortably, and then you have this poon spoon that just is perfect for resting my thumb on. This knife was made for my hand. This knife is ultra comfortable, but just not on that level. Another one for the Davless. Cutting. So the Fif20 has that M390 blade, decent blade stock, nice tall grind. Again, sort of that kitchen knife feel to it. Cut shit out of myself at one point. Nice and sharp on here. I haven't done a ton of cutting with a Fif20 or 23. Honestly, I don't know if I've done any with either. But definitely seems really sharp and useful and, all that jazz. Then we look at the Davless, and we get also a rather tall grind. We get the S90V steel, super freaking sharp. And then you get a sheep's foot blade. So I can get into this pinch grip. Again, almost kitchen knife-ish in a way. But I can get down utility cut, open boxes, stuff like that. Again, I have not used this much. But I will say, if I had to use one of them, I would prefer to use this one. So I'm going to go Davless. This is turning into an absolute beatdown right now. Carry. Yeah, man. I gotta, again, I think I gotta give it to the Davless because you have a very, in my opinion, a very comfortable clip. Goes in the pocket really well. It's thin, so it has, it's strong retention, but it's like good retention. I've had zero issues with this in pocket. You do have a little bit sticking out, but I've really enjoyed it. With the Fif, it's a little heavier because of the Zerk on the bolsters. So you get a little added weight on the Fif, and it just seems a little blockier. You have this sharp corner here. And, yeah, I mean, I really haven't carried a Fif too much. The Fif20 I had was definitely a brick to carry around. But I've really enjoyed this. Now, there is one caveat. This has a pretty sharp corner up here. I've actually reached into my case and crossed it and been like, what the fuck? I cut myself. And then I'm like, no, that's just the corner on the Davless. Personally, I've never grabbed it in pocket and had anything happen, but I do want to point out to some people, if you're looking at this knife, that can be a pain for some people probably. Hasn't been an issue for me, so I'm going to give this one to the Davless again, but they're both really, really good. Sounds. So the Fif20 has a great acoustic. I mean, it pops out of there. And then it clicks down. Right? Sounds really, really good. The Davless. It's a bit of a heavy, it's a bit of a heavier hitter on the flick. So it really clacks open that I like, I mean, they're both good, right? They're similar. They're front flippers. Just a little softer over here. Nice closing sound. Nice closing sound. I mean, they're just both really good. Yeah, I mean, if you blindfolded me, I don't think I could tell the difference. So I'm going to tie that one, actually. Action. So I much prefer the detent on the Davless. It's strong. It really fires out of there for me. I enjoy that quite a bit. Reverse flick is good. I can do it left-handed pretty reliably now. It was a struggle when I first got it, but I can do that left-handed. I can front flip really well. You can do the rollback move on this knife. I don't do the reach around at all, but I'll do the occasional rollback. But the front flip and the reverse flick, especially right-handed, is where it's at on this knife. The closing action is great. It drops to your nail because they took care of this corner, which I hope to see on more knives. And then it's just smooth shakedown. Now, it's not a guillotine. It's a smooth shakedown. Now, I also have not tried to make this a guillotine. I tightened the pivot as much as I could when I put it back together and put skiffs in. And I like it like this. I like knives that don't just drop anymore. I used to love that. But this is amazing to me. I love the action on this knife. I could fidget with this thing all day and love it. Now, the Fif20 is an absolute monster. Known to be one of the better action knives out there. The D10 is a little softer on this example, and it's pretty much how they all are. I've handled a few. Front flipper is excellent. You have some jimping there. It doesn't even come up all around, but it somehow just works. You can't roll back well, at least. You're just going to slide off and hurt yourself occasionally. Reach around's not too great. But there's just always been something special about the closing action on a Fif. They just have this innate swing down effect, and it must be the blade shape, the weight out to the tip. There's no play at all. And I mean, it's silly, honestly. And you could sit there all day and just watch that happen. Right? This is great. But I don't think it's the same. I do think I get more satisfaction flicking the Davless, but that closing action on the Fif just takes the cake, I think. So I'm going to give that one to the Fif. The Fif, not the fifth. It's Fif20. Fif. I've heard people say Fif20, and I want to punch them. I don't care what Philippe Georget says. It's the goddamn Fif20. If anybody says Fif, you can just run. Fit and finish, man. These are gorgeous knives. Both of them excellent. Pretty much same OEM, I would say, on both. Dead nut centered, locked up like bank vaults, action like crazy. The fit and finish is amazing on both of these knives. And I've actually had issues with both, sort of both models. So with the Fif, I had a Fif23. And I had an issue where the clip screw, like, stripped out. The threading in there they did was dog shit. And I had to send it to somebody to fix and all this shit, and it sucked. And then on the Davless here, the Zircuti clip I had delamination issues and literally cracked. So that's not great. But, man, they're both just so solid. They're beautiful. You know, I guess I'm going to go with the Fif because of that delamination issue. I think the seams are a little tighter, like here. At the bolsters a little tighter than those collars are to the scale. I think that might be on purpose, but that sharp corner up there is a little bit annoying. I do love that thing, but yeah, I think the Fif is just a little bit more refined. So I'm going to go Fif on that one. And then leftability. So, you know, they're both going to be pretty lefty friendly. This one is actually a liner lock. The Davless is a, I guess, sub-frame lock. Because you actually, this is a frame lock that you then put the scale on. I think it would be a sub-frame lock. It doesn't really matter. But, yeah, I mean, I can front flip them both left-handed. I can reverse flick them both left-handed. Don't have any issues with that. The front flipper, yeah, I mean, I would say they're tied because I really don't have... There's not one I can carry left-handed or do anything better with lefty, I guess. So there's really no way to discern, right? So I'm just going to give it a tie. So there you go. That's the battle. I'm pretty sure it was a runaway win. We have a 2 for the Fif and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for the Davless. So the CKF Davless is the winner of this category. And you know what? Of this battle. And that makes sense, right? I own this knife. I don't own this knife. Now, I might buy one of these if I get a chance and I get a good enough price on it. I think I might pick one up because this is a fabulous pocket knife. I really love this thing. So I may be looking for one. If anybody has one, I kind of want one now. You know, it would be cool if they made a Fif18 and they did a like thinner, like make it just a little thinner and a shorter one. Like what if it was this big and just a little thinner, I think that would be like the greatest knife ever, honestly. But yeah, what a wonderful knife the Fif20 is. And the Davless is just an absolute banger. I mean, I like this better than the Evo, I think. It's probably my favorite CKF of all time. So that, you know, if that means anything to you. I also really like that Lexi Konigan, was it T15, that flipper? That thing was awesome too. All right, there you go, guys. That's the battle of the CKFs, and the Davless was the winner. By the way, this has a gorgeous hand satin, and this has the CKF wash, which, again, I did give fit and finish to the Fif, so that's good. That's something I should have put in there. Definitely nicer. So there you go. Let me know which one you would have chosen, which one you have, you want, which one's on your list, what you guys think, and yeah, I love you guys. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will catch you later.